And as it goes, we're live.
And 8 point and goodies to all you Ramble Maniacs and all you BC aliens out there. And it goes a little something like
A
this.
bullshit? A bullshit? A bullshit. A bullshit.
There's two reasons for that. One of them you probably already know. But second one, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, fuck the Nepro wait title, man. The Ramble Mania Show probably brings to you. I am now your former 12-time Ramblemania. Oh, I didn't even change this.
I ain't changed mine either.
I know. Well, how about we just we leave it blank. So, former 12-time Ramblemania heavyweight champion, your former inaugural Ramblemania tag team champion, your then now forever Ramblemania hardcore champion. I'm Hazel the iZombie. Join along with me as always.
Way to go, shimmers in the light. It is I, your now current, reigning, defending, undisputed 15-time Ramblemania champion of all thine cosmos. Number 15. I am on your ass, Ric Flair. You about to get the fuck up out of here. But I am TJ the Great. TJ the Great.
This is our New Japan Pro Wrestling Dominion in Osaka Joe Hall / Best of Super Juniors 31 Finals review here on the Ramblemania Show. We're going to recap the 9-match card that took place throughout the event in Osaka, which was at 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. On our end, we got to watch was it 3.5 or was it 4.5 hours?
About
I don't
3.5
remember.
because we were out. Okay. We were out before 7 for sure. We were.
All right. Yeah. We was out by like 7:30. We was done because we had to watch the ending because we always stick around for when these guys in the main event they got to speak at the end.
Yeah,
and all that shit. But yeah, let's just break something out new for once. How you been though, man? After this whole weekend, and everything.
I mean, my weekend wasn't as eventful as yours, but I had a solid weekend. I had a decent time. Got to watch Collision as I do. Got to watch New Japan, and yeah, I went out. Saturday was very nice. It was a nice day. I got to go out. People was hooping, doing shit. I got to get myself in shape and hoop again. But I had a good weekend. How was your weekend?
Sometimes we have to remind people that this is a podcast and we don't do shit like this often. We don't talk about our days and whatnot. So
yeah, talk about our days.
I need to break the ice with this shit. Holy fuck. Besides that, gender reveal and everything, which is great. I'm about to have a son. I got to watch Battleground when I got home. Saw a portion of the match, but then we had to do our stuff. That's why I was just like, wait, if this show ends at 11, I don't want to keep this man waiting. So let me just get on now. Plus, I don't wait for these guys to leave because my wife was just going to take my brother out into town, which was this man had to go gamble a bit. I'm like, all right, whatever, you do that. I didn't mind. But it was just fun having him here. We got to chill whatnot. Like, we chilled this morning before I took him to the bus stop. He forgot his bus. Like, he dead fell asleep at the bus terminal. At first, he was going to take the Amtrak. And that shit was like $65. And the train wasn't going to show up till like 4. We got there like 11. So we went to the dispensary. We grabbed some bud. And he got me some bud as a gift since he didn't bring anything. And he did kind of felt bad. We smoked, took him to the bus stop, and then I just went on my walk. He calls me, and he says, "Yo, I missed the train." I'm like,
he's like, just fell asleep?
I guess he knocked out. I don't know what happened, or he was probably just walking around the neighborhood since it was his first time here. And it's just like, all right, whatever. So instead of taking the train, I'm like, nigga, you better get on that Peter Pan. You ain't wasting the 65 fucking hours on this bullshit. So it was fun having to hang out with him and the family. And that whole time that I was like walking back, just enjoying the weather and shit, I finally thought of a name.
Oh.
He will now be known as Abel.
Oh, Abel. I like it.
Yes.
I like Abel. I like that.
Yes. 2 reasons. One, I had to put my foot down for this. This woman's been making too many decisions in my life, and it's like you wanna go out of your way to name our kid after a House of Dragon or Game of Thrones character? Nah, absolutely not. If we have a daughter, you have the right to name that kid. Okay, this is my moment, and I'm having it. And my boy is about to be able.
All right, I like that. I respect it. I respect. You got to get one thing in everything. All right, at least the father should
Yes,
get the one thing. So
yeah.
yeah,
But Battleground was not that bad of an event. I just felt like maybe they were trying to get the gimmick out there too much with, oh, we in UFC, we in the Apex, we in Vegas, and all that other whatnot. So I saw the Shayna Lola Vice match, the NXT Underground, the MMA rules type shit. I watched it and I actually enjoyed it 100%. My issue is it should have never been a NXT Underground match. Like that should have been kiboshed, gone. It should have been forgotten, like the Forgotten Sons wrestling career in WWE. The fact that they brought it back pissed me off because the fight pit would have been more better.
yeah,
But
fair
these
enough.
women, they were hitting. They were really hitting. Big ups to Kalani Jordan for becoming the new NXT Women's North American Championship. Fuck Sexy Red. Don't come back to WWE. I don't know why you even exist. Uh,
Do those things correlate in some way?
it correlated because they had she was the guest, she was the host, she was basically responsible for gifting, well, not even gifting, for now for basic. I think she ring announced the North American Women's
Yeah, the same.
Championship
Did she
ladder
like
match.
interfere in that or something?
She didn't interfere, but then there was a moment where it was like it caught me off guard and it cringed me a lot. So after the underground match, the NXT underground match that took place with Shayna and Lola. Oh, by the way, Lola won by TKO by clocking Shayna for real. And then it was like ding 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 ding.
Oh.
So yeah. So they had a little segment backstage. They were talking, they was chilling, and here come the twerking. And it's like this girl should not be twerking. I mean, I say that on both women's behalf because I'm not here for the horny. I'm here for the competitiveness. And then I got to watch what could have possibly been the match of the night for me. Obafemi, Joe Coffey, and Wesley. Awesome match. Great to see Wesley back, but there was teasing some shit along the way there. And I think we might see a couple of rascals beating up some Gallus boys in the next coming weeks on NXT or TNA. Speaking of
No.
TNA, big ups to them for actually being in attendance for the showing. President Anthem was there, people in charge of the fight networks, they were all there and stuff. Big ups to them. They were there. They got to represent. They were doing their thing. I was really proud that they gave them the recognition and all that other stuff. And then the women's championship match took place, and Jordan Grace did her thing. She absolutely did her thing. It's like she brought that TNA shit into NXT, and she put the hurting on Roxanne. And there was some interference taking place. Tatum Paxley, who now has this, I don't know, Tim Burton Beetlejuice goth look that I don't know. She looks good for some reason. She looked like something out of Salem, Massachusetts, really. She shows up, and then who happens to show up? Vic Joseph almost pulled a kayfabe WWE name. It was Aspa Elegance, and he almost said Dana Brooke.
Well,
So she makes her WWE return again here for that appearance and whatnot. And then the main event, not one of my favorites, but they did what they did. And I think, it's going to take a while for us, for some people. I don't even know why we said us. We don't watch NXT. That's a big lie. All right. It's going to take a while for some people to get used to Ethan Page in WWE and for Ethan Page to get used to being in WWE because this was his first match ever in the company. And he was still good for what he did. It's just Trick Williams still got a lot to prove, and he still needs a lot more work. No, he's the NXT champion. I know he's the hottest guy right now in that promotion. He's white hot there, but you know, a guy who's white hot can't be an overnight success that quickly. Trick Williams is no spring chicken. He's still got a lot of work left in his career before it's time for him to go to the main roster. That's why I was kind of proud that like they gave him the title, because that means he's got to stick around for a bit longer until it's time for him to lose the belt and he's ready to be called up. So
I mean, in that case, isn't he a spring chicken then? He's young. He's young and got to come up.
I mean, eventually, but for the time being, he's still got a lot to prove in NXT. And I think the match with Ethan Page kind of proved that he still needs some work, but it was still good. It was just, chemistry just wasn't clicking. The crowd was dead after, the TNA NXT Forbidden Door moment, whatnot. Everyone was basically tired out. Nobody was like, it was like, oh, it wasn't quiet. Like the crowd was still chanting, but it was just like they were kind of like wrapping it up.
Okay. So, Johnny, we're not watching Raw because I never watch it, and also look, we're reviewing New Japan. That's why.
Yeah, Johnny. I forgot because we blocked you a while ago. You haven't noticed what's going on. So every now and then when a pay-per-view takes place, we switched it up. We're not watching Raw because this man's schedule, my schedule. So we do the pay-per-view recaps because we need to actually go back to podcast formats from time to time.
And this is the best way to get it in. Fucking, why bother with Raw?
For us to get the pay-per-views out of the way. Why not? I mean, I'm still watching Raw in the background. So don't think that I'm just ignoring what's going on. I know what's going on because I just talked to TJ about how I'm sick of Liv Morgan being really, really horny for Dominic Mysterio. And
she dropped the Addy.
She wants to call him daddy.
Oh, that's crazy. Dom, my guy. You got to get it in there.
Why would you want to waste your time calling a girl mommy when you could have yourself a short, hot, dumb blonde girl that worked at Hooters that could call you daddy? Because my last name's Daddy-O.
Did she say that? Because she's spitting if she said that.
She was really spitting, my nigga. And I really wanted to just.
I've been to Hooters, great wings.
I mean, you know what? I gotta make that my bucket list because I never really done that. I've never been to Hooters. My birthday coming up too, so might as well just
you gonna go to Hooters now. You're about to be a dad.
I could still go to Hooters, my nigga. Like my wife could take me. I'm not, bro. I'm not there for the Hooters. I'm not there to look at the women. I know what
the wings are genuinely good. So yes.
No, I know that. I know that.
You can go to Hooters for the wings,
and I want to try. Good. I just want to go for the wings. I'm not going for the selling point. Like Jesus, I get it.
And the girls are all nice, and you ain't got to be all.
No. I get that. I watch a lot of reviews on certain restaurants, and I get a lot of reviews on Hooters a lot, and it's just like they're all of them are nice. It's just you gotta be aware of the higher ups people. They're the ones you gotta be careful of.
Yeah, just be cool and enjoy your wings when you go to Hooters.
You ever seen like Undercover Boss? That TV show?
Yeah. Yes.
So I've seen one of those, and one of them was like, Undercover for Hooters and all that shit. It's weird that I can't really describe how it's like working at Hooters. Well, the Most High is going out of his way to say, we need Jesus.
We need Jesus?
I don't believe in that. I don't believe in that figment of an imagination you're putting out there, sir. So
Jesus was a real dude. It's whether he was a religious figure is up for interpretation, but he was a real dude.
No, I think of the religious figure like that's a cult. That's a cult that you're all following. I'm surprised some of you have not gone to Jonestown. I'm not referring to you, just all these people that like to throw this shit in my face. Some of you should have been Jonestown. All right, but for those of you who are new to the show and who are knowing what the hell's going on here, we about to do a recap. And this is how we recap it on a star rating. 1 is a who booked this shit. 2 is a bad. 3 is a solid good. I might as well just switch. I might as well just make it solid good. That way I don't have to explain
Mm,
the
so,
whole thing.
yeah.
4 is a bars. 5 is a GOAT. 6 and up is whatever I want to just fucking call it. And then the matches that we don't care about is going to get a right back skip or a knout. So just be prepared. But that won't take place here since all these matches we actually gave a shit about.
Yeah, no nouts here.
Yeah,
No goats
no
either on
nouts.
my end, but no nouts.
You sure about that?
I don't have any goats. I have
I
some
got,
bars. No goats.
I got one GOAT. I got one GOAT.
Nice.
You're probably not gonna like it. But
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
but without further ado, submitted to the approval of the Ramblemania show. This is the tale of lumberjack whippings
So,
and tournament finals.
Yes.
Great one. Our 15-time Ramblemania heavyweight champion. Are you ready?
I was born ready.
Without further ado, let's ramble. So
this.
we all know Dominion has this tradition where it takes place in Osaka Joe Hall every year. The attendance was 7,254 in attendance. Pretty big number. Can't complain. Don't really, give New Japan a lot of crap for the attendance. Like when I did with Wrestle Kingdom, when we did the recap on that, like, yeah, I had a lot to bicker about because when we watched an event that had 40,000 people and there was a roaring crowd, there was a seismic seismic shift within this year's when it dropped that like 50% with 20,000. It caught me off guard. With this one, it's like I don't even care because the crowd was still loud. It was still hot, and everyone was ready for a 9-card show, which obviously was probably one of the weirdest bookings and the weirdest lineups we've ever seen. We start. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I think it's emblematic of a lot of what New Japan has gone through over the last. I mean, since the pandemic, really, that's when a lot of the trouble started for them. But over the last few years, like with the financial issues in Japan as a whole, in general, like Japan has been going through a little bit of a financial crisis with the yen down and all that. So there is a little bit of external factors in New Japan's weirdness over the last few years or so. But there's also we gonna talk with Gato over the course of this show. That's we gonna see.
Yeah, that man's gonna needs to start talking to him because there's one match here that I never thought we would actually sit here and predict, but we're gonna get to that when we get to it. We open up the show officially with Naito Tetsuya going one-on-one with the United Kingdom's young boy, Callum Newman. I just found out that this was Ospreay's young boy, so he trained him.
You can tell. Watch him wrestle.
you could actually tell, and we're gonna talk about it now. This match was 8 minutes and 8 seconds. Great one. Let's commence with the rambling, my brother.
Indeed. Shout out Robert. What's going on, Robert?
Yeah,
Pat McAfee did a Joe Hendry reference. He believes in Joe Hendry.
Yes.
Can he show up in
His
NXT?
Name and he appears.
Honestly, how do you not fucking just wrap up
Well,
Joe Hendry right away?
Before we talk about the night, so Cody Rhodes is showing up tomorrow at NXT, so I wouldn't be surprised if Joe Hendry is like the first TNA male to finally come into the WWE Forbidden Door and have that confirmation with Cody Rhodes. Oh, confrontation.
I mean, now that I think about it, if they bring in Joe Hendry, they're probably going to sign him because all that potential viral buzz they can get off, I believe in Joe Hendry, and they're not going to let
they're
not going to let the company have that.
1 million hits on Spotify for that song alone.
So either he's coming in and they're signing him, or he's not coming in. That's where I'm standing.
It could be one of those options, but I don't want to watch NXT tomorrow, but for some reason, when me and Six saw it last week, no, because me and Six were watching it last week when we had to postpone come Tuesday. Me and Six are like, yo, NXT is actually looking pretty good, but it's not worth coming back to watch all over again.
I mean, if you want to watch it, watch it. I'm not
No,
watching.
I'm not. No, I'm done. I only did that because we had to postpone shit. But let's go. Let's talk about Naito and Newman.
Yes. Naito and Callum Newman. I have to imagine the idea here was to give Callum Newman a nice showing against a top tier guy to show he'll be ready to move up soon. A classic, guy pops out of the young boy class and starts to progress up the card. Like this happens in New Japan. And with this, you see that he's been breaking out of that Osprey light shell, and they work this as one of those experience outmatches youth type matches where Naito was clearly like a step ahead of him and blitzed him, which like that in a sub 10-minute match that works for Naito, who at this stage in his career, we talk about it like every time we watch him wrestle. Like Naito is banged up, he's older, he's got to take it easier than he was at one point in his career throughout the 2010s. So this type of match works for what he's got to do in the present day and for what the aims are of this match, which I thought was fun. I'm gonna give this a high bats, low good.
I look at this as this was Newman's big break. We never got to see him flourish and showcase his skills one-on-one in a singles match. And I think Tetsuya Naito was basically the icebreaker for him to be introduced as a singles guy with the Japanese crowd. And one thing that I always like to give some of these new guys, I like to give them their credit for what they could capably do in that ring. And Naito is the opposite of Newman. We look at Naito from 9-10 years ago. We see the speed, we see the agility, we see the athleticism in Naito, but we see now how he's being weighed down. He's not that he's slow, he's moving pretty methodically. He still does his stuff, but he's not like the Stardust genius that we last saw him. And then I see Newman, and then I see this young blood out here, trained by Will Ospreay, learned under the tree of Ospreay. Not trying to steal Jericho's gimmick and shit, but he learned from under that man's wing, and he took his skills and basically went out there and showed a lot of agility, a lot of athleticism, and a lot of strong style indeed. And I never thought that this kid had a lot of strength to pull out strong style. Very impressive. For the 8 minutes that he got here, it's perfectly fine. You're going up against a former world champion. Why not get this opportunity to go out there and showcase yourself to the world? Because your name is now going to be talked about forever in history because of this match. So, with all that said, I will honestly give this match a 3.25.
Okay.
This was, again, definite icebreaker for Callum Newman. Him pulling out the Ozbreaker, the Oz Cutter. I'm like, and there's one thing that catches me off guard, and you got to answer this question for me. Who is the leader of the United Empire?
I don't know. Because obviously Ospreay is not there anymore. So
no, and it's also like, again, it's back to who was the mole in Chaos.
We're never
now who is the leader of the United Empire? Because now the obvious choice, it looks like it's Jeff Cobb.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably the guy with the most catch in the group.
Because he's the TV champion. He's getting the most recognition. He's getting all the air. I thought, honestly, after that steel cage match, because we haven't seen Francesco Akira in a minute, and I don't think he was in the best of Super Juniors, but I thought it was going to be TJP taking the reins. Like, I thought this was Ospreay passing the torch to another junior guy since, when he came in, he was a junior in Chaos, then became a heavyweight guy going forward.
TJP living that Aswang life, though.
yeah, but I guess going forward, I gotta see what happens. But 3.25. This match was fun, and I'm happy that Callum got his moment here, and I can't wait for him to have more. I'm hoping that they run it back one more time, and this time he gets more time with Naito. Meanwhile, Braun Breaker is beating up Ricochet in the parking lot. My God almighty. In a 6-man tag team match that took place, we got TMDK Zack Sabre Jr. and the Ichiban Sweet Boys, the Sniper of the Sky, Robbie Eagles. I think he's the OTT heavyweight champion, that belt that he came out with. And Kyosuke Fujita taking on Bullet Club, War Dogs, Clark Connors, Drilla Maloney, the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions, with a special appearance. New Pro Wrestling Noah's very own good-looking guys member, LJ Cleary, the beautiful life guy.
Yes.
I what the fuck? What are these slogans, bro? This match was 9 minutes and 41 seconds. Ramble on, great one. While I watch the Braun Man kill Ricochet on his final night of Monday Night Raw.
Writing them off. They
He about to
slotted
go
this
through a car.
as your typical early, type them up trios match that New Japan usually does. You always have one of these early on the card in New Japan, and this served that purpose with flying colors, I'd say. I think in the things it set up, Connors and Drilla Maloney got to look like a solid team heading up for those titles. Fujita, I liked Fujita in this. He got good sympathy from the people. I think the people got with him, which bodes well for his progression up in his division. And we ain't know LJ Cleary like that coming in.
No.
He was an unknown quantity, but I actually thought he looked good in there. I thought all the beautiful gimmickry and everything worked out. And he and Zach at the finish, because that was basically what the match built to, like Zach getting the hot tag and coming in and fucking shit up. And the crowd wanted it, and the crowd got it. And it was basically him and Zach for the finish. And I thought that all worked out. Like, they had a hot finish. It was the peak of the match, I thought. Really good. So I'm going to give it a solid good. If they're going to go down the path of doing something with Cleary and Zach, then they did well enough in setting it up here. I like this.
Well, from the looks of it, too, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if you've been catching up on Noah, but it looks like Keo Mayonnaise is about to get his belt taken by Gabe Kidd.
Fucking what?
I know, right?
Fucking
And then
take out this little bitch, Keo.
it's so fucking weird. But yeah, I think this man's about to be the Glory Honor Crown World Champion, bro.
All right.
But yeah, no, this match, yeah, we every now and then when we watch Noah, we're always introduced to some of these guys on the roster because we don't have a lot of time for Noah like that. When we do, it's usually when they do these crossovers with New Japan. And it's always nice to watch people outside of New Japan come in and put in their fucking work. This kid was a nameless body in an unremembered room going in, but then when the bell rang, I'm like, oh, you are a good-looking guy because you could work. Because this kid, he's a shining star for Noah. And for that junior division, it's looking bright for him. And I hope he gets more time in Noah than what he got here. Because holy shit, they did a lot for with him and Zach. I think that was just like you said, that was the focus. And I think there's a rivalry going on between them. If that means we're gonna see Zach going to Pro Wrestling Noah just to face one of these good-looking guy faction dudes, then go for it. I don't know, fuck. Okay. My thing was I didn't really get to watch a lot of Kyosuke Fujita, and that was my main focus. I know the kid, and I wanted to watch the stuff. This kid can work. He can move. He's quick. He's stylish in that ring, and he will fuck you up like he means it. They were putting in work. Clark Connors and Drilla being Clark Connors and Drilla. There's not really much I could say about them because they were being Clark Connors and Drilla. They just shooting people, drinking beer, and they the dogs for real. Kind of sucks that they lost, but honestly, this was TMDK's night. This and what happens later when we talk about it. So yeah, I'm not hating it 100%. This was pretty fun. It's always nice to see Robbie Eagles back in competition again. That fucking faction groupie. But I just found out that he's going to be having a match with Nick Nemeth pretty soon in August, so that's going to be pretty fun. Or is it? Oh no, it is Robbie Eagles. So yeah, it's going to be so much fun. I will give this match a good. It was fun for what they did. And now for the KOPW Championship in a Storm Catch rules match. The rules were that the usage of 2 rope breaks in a 15-minute time limit. And if you got out of the ring 3 times, you were disqualified or something, whatever.
You had
But yeah,
2 rope breaks, and a third one would get you disqualified. And then
okay.
the ring exits, same situation. So it was basically like I said, pure rules on crack.
Yeah, Ricochet got power slammed through a windshield.
He's dead.
Yeah, he's
And
dead.
War Dogs versus the Bucks. I mean, in that case, the War Dogs would be the faces. So I don't know if they do that, but maybe.
I mean, we'll see. This was Yuya Uemura defending that championship against Great Khan. This was 10 minutes and 36 seconds. Go ahead, TJ, ramble on. Oh, look, Samantha Irving out there with her husband crying. Oh, I mean, not my husband, her man. Oh, damn,
Hey,
her
Mr.
ass.
President.
They are
Please
showing
don't
her
book.
ass.
Oh my God. All right. Hey, Mr. President, please don't book the KOPW title, please. Hey, listen.
You got to talk to Gato about that. That's not Tanahashi's role.
So, like I said, the idea for this was essentially pure rules with a hard out at 2 rope breaks, because usually in pure rules matches, essentially how it works is after the 3rd rope break, it just doesn't count anymore. Like a guy could keep the submission on even if you get to the ropes. In this one, it's a DQ if you even go for the ropes again. So it actually leads to like a smart wrestled match between these two based like solely on groundwork, because you can't do too much otherwise you risk losing, which I kind of liked. Like there's this spot toward the end where like Great Khan, he was gonna go for the ropes because he was in an armbar, but he thought about it. It was like, oh shit, I already used 2. If I use another one, I'm fucked. So I like that element of it, and making people think it is different. But I think the issue is this title has been so weird and inconsistent and full of crazy, wacky, nonsense stipulations that at this point, I think no matter what you do with it, you'll never get a solid foothold on people caring or growing, because shit like this type of match, we're talking about the rules and shit, but it's not that crazy in comparison to some of the other stuff that they've done with the KOPW title.
Yeah.
And I think what fucks it up is that because we're now used to the KOPW title having a crazy, wacky stipulation, what was a straightforward wrestling match is like, oh, that's what they're doing? Even though it should have been like, oh, look, the kind of straightforward wrestling match. I think it's emblematic of the larger issues with the promotion right now, which is, it's been wacky and inconsistent and a lot of crazy stuff going on. And, maybe not never book the KOPW title, but I do think that we sort of, and I'm going to talk about it with the next match too, that we're in a position where New Japan sort of needs a soft reset with a lot of its lower card titles in particular because of the positions that they're in. But this match, I'm going to give it a high bad, low good.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit you with a counter argument there, Young Wolf. You want wacky and nonsense? Go watch a DDT Pro show. Go watch Yoshihiko matches. All right, that's wacky and nonsense.
That's beyond the pale.
All right, this match though, like, all right, I'm gonna give it a buck. This was one of the matches that I was really gonna skip, but after watching it, I was like, this is what the KOPW title should have really been. Matches like this, like. I look at this title now after this match. I'm like, this should have been their TNA's version of that Grand Championship that they came out with when they had a point system where it was like a 2 out of 3 fall stipulation type shit. That's what this should have been. Because you're not going to believe what I had to encounter when I last saw this championship on the line. And that was I forgot who was sucking lemons, who was putting lemons in their eyes or something. At first I called this the Toriano belt because this was a genuine fit for him. And I need to remind people, this was a trophy before they gave us that disgusting looking belt. That belt is horrible. The TV title looks better than that belt. the fact that I see guys like Yu Uemura hold on to it pisses me off because he's better than that belt. He's way better than that belt. He shouldn't be in that sort of position. But then I remembered Shingo Takagi won that belt, and he actually did much better shit with that belt than what a lot of people were expecting. Tai Chi won that belt. It was goofy for a while, but then it got really interesting. But again, I look at this belt. This belt came out around 2020, 2021. This was New Japan's downfall. This was their dark hour right here. And this belt was probably the issue. Because you throw these matches that a lot of people aren't really interested in. It's like, this is New Japan. This is supposed to be the king of sport. This is not supposed to be what Choco Pro does, what DDT Pro does, or what any other goofy ass Japanese pro promotion does. Like, like they have a gimmick called Razor Ramon Hargate, or a guy pulling out a Glock during a wrestling match. You know, this is not that. This is what it shouldn't be for this belt. But when I saw this match, I'm like, that whole thing went out the window. And I said, this is the reason why this title should be what it is after this match. It should just be a pure championship. It should be a grand championship. It could have a point system. It could be a 2 out of 3 falls concept. But we need to get away from the gimmick shit. This is the king of sports, not the kings of comedy. You want to do that? Do it during Toru Yano matches. But at this point, Toru Yano's about to be stepping out with his president.
Yeah, he got to be in the cabinet.
I'll still give it a good, because these two guys still did something. And that was kind of what I was expecting from these two, was them wrestling and not pulling off stupid gimmicks. And I was really proud that they didn't pull off a stupid gimmick here. I really enjoyed it. And I like Great O'Khan. That man could go rock that belt anytime he wants. Let him go have strippers. Let him pose naked with that belt. I don't give a fuck. That man is money with that KOPW championship. Like, that should just be Great O'Khan's belt from this day forward. Nobody should just take it from him. All right, now we got Los Ingobernables de Japón, the Dinosaur, the Venom, and the Hentai guy taking on our president, a comedy guy, and a man from Russia. This was for the 6-man tag team belts. It was 8 minutes and 32 seconds. Go ahead, TJ, ramble on.
So, like I said, just in the prior match, I think New Japan is in a rough situation across the board. And I feel like one of the things that they should do is soft reset, particularly with their mid-card titles. Like these in particular. I think the 6-man never titles, I mean, they've never been like in the biggest standing. They've never been like the top title or anything like that. But I do think they were propped up a little better than they currently are. And I think a big thing that sort of juked them is Okada leaving, because he was champion when he left. And then I still don't understand how they knew Okada was leaving.
And they never had them like lose the belts at all.
Yeah. Like Okada's just walking around having not, like, I understand like you wanted to let him go or whatever, like, but you could have at least did something to facilitate getting that title off of him. I don't understand. But anyway.
Oh God. I look at it like it was like he was trying to be the Bret Hart here. It's like, bro, this is a never open weight 6-man tag team belt. You could take the loss and go on about your business. Why? Why?
I'm curious as to what's the deal with that. But as far as this match goes, I think Oleg, I like Oleg. He has like good promise as a young power guy. I like his spots in there. I like that, they focused on his power. I liked the Tanahashi Yotasuji interactions and the standoffs. Like, despite the fact that fucking Tana is fucking 50 and has no knees, like they genuinely grabbed me enough to like, all right, let me see Tanahashi and Yotasuji. I want to see it. So yeah, in terms of setting other things up, I did actually enjoy this match a bit. I did pick the president to win, But realistically, the right guys won. And again, like I said, if they are going to go on the path, because I think Tanahashi even talked about this, if they are going to go on the path of sort of soft resetting and reworking the titles and things like that, then I think obviously a good thing is to start with moving these titles, especially to a young guy like Suji and Oleg. And it was good. It was good. So yeah, I give it a solid good.
I hope so too, because honestly, it's not just the never open weight division that is like slumping. There's also your women's division that really doesn't get utilized ever since you started the cross partnership with Stardom. Like that's been kind of a slump, and I think that's what's been ruining New Japan a little bit.
But I think that's the thing. Like they never had a real women's division. They just they
I'm
paired
not
up
saying
with
they never
Stardom.
had a. I'm not saying that they never had a real women's division. It's like we're not utilizing the women on these shows. Like that's the problem. Like you give us this IWGP Women's Championship for what? For them to have it and then go defend it in Stardom or Tokyo Joshi Pro or Ice Princess and all that stuff. Like it should be defended on here. And I'm hoping that this match right here that I'm going to talk about now was the last that we see of our president getting in the ring, because when we saw Double or Nothing, we saw what he was doing behind the scenes other than what he did that Saturday, which we marked out for. Like, oh, he's here. President gonna wrestle. But then, press conference, Double or Nothing. He was just there because we know Forbidden Door is coming up soon, and he got some plans that he and Tony Khan are trying to cook up. And that's really what I'm just expecting going forward. Now that he lost the belts, which honestly, you're right. This was a too little too late scenario. Like you should have done this sooner than expected. Like I get that you didn't want Okada losing, you didn't want him to go out on a loss, but why did it really matter? Knowing that, and let me remind you this also, Makabe was part of that tag team title run as well. And then they just said, fuck it. They gave it to Oleg and Yano while Hiroshi was still champion. I was just like, okay, this is the president basically pulling his pull here. He doesn't want to give it up just yet, so let him have his team, his Hontai team, join him, do their thing for a while, and then when the time is right, when it's time for him to conduct business with the Forbidden Door stuff and with New Japan, this is gonna be it. And when they did it here, I was like, you know what? Finally, they needed to get it done because it's been too long. It's been way too long. Should have happened when Okada left. Whatever. Now, I'm happy overall because now we officially got Hiromu out of that junior heavyweight division vortex after that 2.5 fucking year with that damn belt when it should have been Master fucking Wado's time eons ago. He finally broke the curse. He didn't pull a Kushida and leave to go to another promotion. He could have wrestled Yoshihiko a million times. They got 5-star matches. But he is now a never open weight 6-man tag team champion. He has now graduated.
He's probably looking at that shit like, whoa, a new belt. It's different.
Look, Daryl, a new belt, and it's blue.
Yeah, we haven't held this one, Daryl.
Fun match. I like the little mix-up with Yoda Tsuji and our president. It was very fun. It just showed that Yoda Tsuji could get a guy like Tanahashi to have some legs and put him in work. So it was fun. It was really fun. But I'm gonna give this one. This one gets the lowest. It gets a good. I can't give it anything more than that. And it is time for the New Japan Pro Wrestling World Television Championship. Jeff Cobb, who we are now assuming is the leader of the United Empire, defends against the Stone Pitbull, Ishii Tomohiro. This was 11 minutes and 47 seconds. Go ahead, TJ. Let's ramble.
Oh boy, this was that shit right here. This was that shit. This shit slap. As you would have expected, it ticks the boxes of big meaty men slapping meat. But the extra bonus here is it's an Ishii match, which if you don't
Damn
know,
right.
that man don't have bad matches. It's not in him. He is incapable of having a bad match. And when you factor in the TV title format, which is 15-minute time limit, it makes it a meaty sprint. That's the only option that you get, which works because that's Ishii's specialty.
Absolutely.
Like, you get Ishii in there with a 10 to 15-minute match and he will kill it every single time. Shit, I almost wish he would have won because, like, if anybody can hold that title, it's him. But Jeff Cobb is also incredible, perfect guy to hold this belt. But yeah, you could argue the best match on the show, either this or the main, which we'll talk about later, but really fucking good match. I enjoyed the hell out of this. Ishii never fails to like wow me late in the match where he's just sitting there stubbing around with his no neck and he does shit like pull off a Hurricane Rana while fucking pop up toward the islands from Cobb. Like, great match here, man. Bars, straight up bars.
Yo, this match slapped, and this match had no necks.
No necks at all.
Very competitive, very hard hitting, very meaty between these fucking two guys. Holy goddamn shit. This was wrestling here. Like, and I have been loving the TV title division for a minute. Like I said, after we saw this match, an hour later, the shit was up on YouTube. And again, I think this was what New Japan needed to come back from. Because like I told you, remember how they used to, for YouTube purposes, you know how they used to do like free matches every Monday and shit? They would put out like one free match for people to watch. They don't have to do that anymore because now for people who want to watch like one match in the pay-per-view that they didn't get to see, you get to see it within the TV title that they defend on. It gets a lot of viewerships on YouTube, and it helps out because it helps New Japan because they get that viewership growing even more. And I think that's what's going to get New Japan back up to where they need to be because it boosts up, the viewership needs to be boosted up. Finances too. And again, I think the TV title is what's going to help benefit them because they got a lot of subscribers on YouTube. And I know they're making good money off of that shit too. So I don't think it's going to hurt them in the long run. This match, though, holy crap. This was absolutely nonstop competitive wrestling from these two. This was straight up technicality until they got to the hard hitting stuff. And then they got to the point where they were almost literally about to kill each other. And then they went to the spots where the forearms, the backhands, the chops, the suplexes, the neck bumps, the head bumps. It was crazy. It was crazy. Like, Ishii is the definition of no quit. Like, bro, that belly to belly, my nigga, that Jeff Cobb gave to him, what elevation. And then when he dropped, it almost looked like he was about to hit his head. But then I forgot, Ishii got no neck, so there's nothing there for him to break. All them stack of dimes has shrunk. It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. It gets 4 4/4.
Ooh.
Honestly, like, I've been enjoying the TV title a lot. I don't care who wins it. I enjoy it only because, one, it's free. Two, they're really being competitive with this division. I know a lot of people want to give it shit because, oh, the belt looks stupid. It's brown. It looks like your grandpa's 70s belt buckle. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Pay attention to this division and see the talent, the capability, and the fucking absolute mayhem that these guys are going to go out there and prove. For the 15-minute time limits that they give us, I'm okay with it. I am absolutely okay with the 15-minute matches because that's what the TV title division should be about. This is a TV match, basically, that looked like a fucking pay-per-view here. So, yeah, 4 4/4. Holy fuck.
4 4/4? That's just 5. That's just 5.
No, I can't
I
give
thought
it
you
a
said
5.
3. Yeah.
Oh
I thought you
yeah,
said
4 3/4, 4 3/4. Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, 4 and 4 is just 5.
All right. For the another winner take all match for the IWGP and New Japan Strong Tag Team Championships. TMDK of Mikey Nichols and Shane Haste, the Gorillas of Destiny, El Phantasmo and Hikuleo, Bullet Club's Kenta and Chase Owens, and Bishimon's Hiroki Goto and Yoshihashi in a fatal four-way tornado tag elimination winner take all match. This was 16 minutes and 24 seconds. Go ahead, TJ. Let's ramble.
Young Wolf, I will counter your point by saying, can you be neck strong if you have no neck? I will leave you with that. But as far as this match, again, going on about the whole thing with the direction of New Japan and their titles. I think this match was an indication of the direction that hopefully President Tanahashi is taking things in, cleaning up the undercard title clutter. I think that's much appreciated because, yeah, it was definitely time to unify these titles and bring them together and keep them together. And this all worked out. Excuse me. God going out first is a surprising call. I wouldn't have called that, though. I suppose if you're listening to the streets regarding Hikuleo, maybe not that surprising. Maybe
I've
not.
been hearing that, and I'll explain that later because I have the times of when everyone got eliminated.
Yes. But the real meat here is the final stretch of Bishamon and TMDK, which honestly, low key, that could have just been the match. The Bishamon and TMDK.
Word, bro.
Like that it could have just been that, and it would have worked every bit as well. I thought, because it was really a fucking a good final two with those two, and I thought worked really well in establishing TMDK atop the tag division, especially like Bishamon. They live here atop the tag division. They've been going back and forth for the titles for years at this point. So having TMDK get the win over them, I feel like worked very well in capping their ascension up the top of the division and the ladder. Overall, very good night for TMDK, which I think that was a low key admission statement in there too, and it worked. But yeah, this was really good shit. I'm gonna give this bars 3.25. I mean, not bars, high goods 3.25.
So yeah, the streets was going around talking about that. This is Hikuleo's last match, New Japan. When they first got eliminated, I'm gonna explain the orders right now. So, Gorillas of Destiny was eliminated first within 6 minutes and 26 seconds, followed by Bullet Club within 11 minutes and 17 seconds, and then Bishamon being eliminated by TMDK with 16:24, which was the overall from the times. Yeah, it was kind of a bummer that it is what it is. How they did it. I was kind of shocked because I thought maybe we were gonna keep this going, but then I forgot that God is in WWE technically, and can't really call them God when the only two members left are Hikuleo Jado, which what the fuck does he even do still, and ELP. When they had their hug, they had the little farewell and shit when they were on the ramp walking slowly. It caught me off guard, but then hours later, now I know what the hell's going on, and it's quite possibly that we might just see Hikuleo debut at Clash at the Castle, because I think the Bloodline is gonna show up and get involved after the I Quit match between Cody and AJ once they're done. So I don't know, but I'm hoping that might be the case. But now ELP is gonna be on his own. Let him do what he needs to do. And yeah, you're right. This should have just been Bishamon versus TMDK, but God and Bullet Club were the ones with the tag belts, so they had to get rid of them in order to make it, seem like make it what it is, and that was these two competing. And you know what? I'd be forgetting sometimes that TMDK were always my favorite tag team in NXT when they were TM61. And I should have went for them here. I really should have went for them here. I mean, again, I need to remind people because this was a pay-per-view. Let me put the score up. When you look at the score, you're going to know why this is the way it is for a reason. So, like, this, before I get my grade, I'll just say this right now. I can't believe I literally was going for Bishamon to just beat these guys. Like, what the fuck? Who would have thought? Like, first of all, I said I'd stop giving Yoshihashi so much shit. And now here I am really rooting for this guy to fucking win. You know what? I think it was the right call for TMDK to win because, like I said, this was a big night for TMDK indeed. And it wasn't just that 6-man tag. It was this match. Because now they unified the tag belts. I'm hoping it stays unified and we can have both the American and Japanese belts be defended in the American and Japanese promotions going forward. So let's see. I will give this match, it gets a high good 3.5. Now, for the Never Open Weight Championship, Shingo Takagi defends the belt against Hinata. This was 14 minutes and 35 seconds, and it ended in a double count out. Well, it ended technically in a draw because nobody got up at the count of 10. Go ahead, TJ Ramblemania.
Yeah. So fucking that match was great. Like really good, really stiff bout. That capitalizes on their history, capitalizes way on Hinari's booking from this year. Like, you know, they did a whole thing talking about him getting injured following the big cage match and everything. Like, so there was a clear mission statement in there is a clear mission statement, I should say, in Hinare and setting him up as this big, you know, world beater type guy. And like you even like they did something similar to this match along the lines of it with Gabe Kidd a few months back. And I thought that shit ruled. And this was trending toward that direction with the violence they were inflicting on each other. But then we get the count out finish, the double count out finish, which like, damn, bro. Like it didn't feel earned in the way that a double KO in these types of matches would usually feel earned because it didn't feel like there was enough. Like they were heating up, and before we got to that crescendo, it just died with the like. Even when we're watching it, we're like, no, this isn't gonna. No, they're gonna get up, right? No. Like it took all the air out of the balloon, bro. It was rough. So that's what keeps it from ascending to that higher level. But otherwise, like these two beat the shit out of each other. Like again, Shingo is in that Ishii class of, for me anyway, of he don't have bad matches, and Hinari has been on a roll, and especially with the way they're booking him. I really liked where this was going, and just hated where it finished. So a good and a half, I will say.
Again, there's a reason why the scoreboard is up, and this match caused it to be this way. I was the only one that went for Hinari here to win. I was really thinking right here, right now, Gato will be the smartest man in the world and pull the trigger on Hinari finally becoming the Never Open Weight Championship after all the blood, all the sweat, all the tears, after the near-death experience that he had in that steel fucking cage. I really thought they were going to do it. And then the bell rang. And boy, oh boy, was I enjoying every minute of this match. There was chops. There was forearms. Shingo Takagi's ribs broke after Hinari just kept kicking him and kicking him and kicking him and kicking him Like I'm watching the match right now and he's just kicking him. There was minor grabs here, but I'm not gonna bitch about the minor grabs that they had to do here because again, this is what the never open weight division is supposed to be. Hard hitting, stiff, total nonstop action, never quitting, never giving up, never showing any remorse, never showing weakness. Giving it your all here. And these two men went out there and goddamn that kick. Goddamn that kick. Goddamn that kick. I'm really watching the match again. They went out here and they gave it 110%. Now, a lot of people have a lot of mixed feelings about what happened at the end. First of all, you could all go fuck off because I liked how this ended. Nobody needed to lose here, but it cost me big time because it cost all of us because let me tell you right now, if Shingo would have won, it probably would have been you and Young Wolf simulating. If Hinare would have won, oh, that would have not been a simulation. I would have retained and it's over. Young Wolf would have still gotten another loss in the main event in this fucking card because everybody went for Moxley during that lumberjack match. It was this match that was supposed to be the killing point here. And then they pulled this shit. Now, knowing me, I should be mad. I should be livid because of how they did this. But then I go out of my way and I watch other people's reviews on this, and then I hear, oh, it hurt them in the long run because it ended the way it ended. Why? Why? Were you expecting an overall winner? I think it would have hurt one of them overall if Shingo would have lost or if Hinare lost. It doesn't hurt them if they take this. It kind of just saved them from getting what could have been a disappointment of an ending, because something told me that Gato had something planned for the ending, and these two were like, nah, this is what's gonna happen. We're gonna run this back one more time, but it's gonna be 10 times better than what we did here. And I really enjoyed what they did here. It was fun. It was violent. It was everything that I kind of asked for in this match. Again, everyone that was expecting a decisive winner here, stop lying to yourselves. Just accept the match for what it was. Accept the outcome for what it is. Because now we're going to look at Hinare's future going forward once he actually takes the title from Shingo. This match just proved that we could finally put a title on this man. It may have not been now. And yeah, everyone's like, oh, this was not Kenny versus Okada. If any of you were thinking that this was Kenny and Okada, then you're all as delusional as everybody else that was reviewing this shit.
Yeah, who was expecting
that? Stop believing that type of hype. And I'm not saying don't believe what we're saying, but stop believing that type of hype. Don't fall for that. That's bullshit. If you saw the match, you would have liked it for what they did here, and you would have not cared for how it ended. I cared. That's why it's getting a go. This was my match of the night. I don't give the number openweight championship a lot of credit, but this gets the credibility. I don't care about the other two matches. This was match of the night for me. That's why it's getting a go, because they went all out and they fought until they couldn't get up anymore. And I like that in wrestling. So fight me, hate me, send this to other people that probably could say otherwise. I don't care. I give this match what it is. It's getting a go, which is the highest grade I'm giving the entire show so far. Oh, this match. Nothing's going higher than this. For once, I'm actually just going to be professional with this. I'm not going to do no goofy shit. All right, the lumberjack match for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, Jon Moxley and his gang of people, which was Shota, Tiger Mask, Blue Justice, fuck you, and the founder of the Anaconda Vice versus Evil and his fucking House of Torture gimps of Ren Narita, Kanemaru, Takahashi, and the Dick of Togo. This
Dick Togo.
was the longest match of the night.
Of course it was.
25 minutes and 1 second.
What the fuck? Pro
Ramble
wrestling,
on, man.
Pro wrestling is weird.
No, this show was weird.
Mox and Evil got in here. They did some brawling for a bit, and it was good. Not lighting the world on fire, but they were brawling and it was good. They had good structure to the match, and we all know the bullshit is coming. The bullshit is coming. Then it starts and it gets kind of fun. Like, I don't know, maybe Mox spending a decade in WWE helped prepare him for House of Torture bullshit. He was like, oh, this is going to be bullshit. I know what that's like. Let me just harken back to my WWE days. And he worked around it. Like, it worked. Like, the Shield bomb was fun that they did on him. Fucking them trading each other's moves. Like, it was, like, genuinely when everybody ran in and by the end, all the House of Torture guys are in submissions from all of Mox's guys. Like, I think because by this point, everyone knows a House of Torture match is going to be bullshit. They got to play with the bullshit. They got to play with the tropes. So they got to like flip and subvert expectations and like, oh, Mox brought his guys too. So you think you're going to run in? Like they Dick Togo ran in with the bullshit. Like it was cartoonish, but it worked. Dick Togo's creeping in the ring like, here I come. And then fucking, I think it was Blue Justice that came in and took him out. And then that's when everybody started popping off. I was like, oh, you know what? Yeah, fine. This works. This works. So, you know me. I'm always complaining about the fucking House of Torture. And all the
you're not into
bullshit
this type of chaos. You're into that other chaos with the company that you don't watch.
I'm always like, take the chaos over to the fucking World Wrestling Federation because I don't watch that shit. And I don't want it. But the chaos worked here. I was actually fine with the chaos. So, you know what? Give them a good. They earned it. The House of Torture gets no complaints from me on this night. They did it. Good job. I had fun.
What would have made this match even more goofy than it already was going into it? Moxley should have just came out with Mitch the Plant right next to him.
He should have. Like, he really should have went to the, all right, we WWE bet. Go into the bag.
Like, that's the one thing that I can honestly respect about Moxley is like when it's go time, it's go time when it's with the BCC or any kind of death match. But when it's time to wrestle and have some playful moments and act goofy, then it's time to pull out a wacky line or two here or there. So that it's going to be one of those where it's like, all right, well, at least I'm going to have fun while doing it, right? And I'm not going to go out of my way and say I know Moxley's mind and thinking like, oh, I'm fighting evil, like I might as well just be goofy and shit. I can't take this guy seriously. Really? Nah, I think he was just going in there for the fun of it. And he wanted to do this because I don't think New Japan's ever done a lumberjack match. And they've been doing a lot of firsts with these gimmicks and shit. And again, this match was weird. It was weird. It was absolutely weird. And, for everyone from Tiger Mask to Blue Justice coming out here with Moxley, I would have just been like, yeah, this is a weird combination, but it kind of makes sense. Have some of the Hontai guys come out with Moxley just to pay homage. It looks because Moxley's not with any faction in New Japan, so he's technically a Gaijin Hontai. So watching this match going forward with it was fun for what they did. House of Torture pulling out the belts and whipping John Moxley. That shit was funny. I'm like, oh my God, no, don't have us have flashbacks for when our parents whipped our ass and then Moxley whips their ass. And I'm just like, oh no. That huge spot where everyone in Moxley's side puts the House of Torture in all these submissions, that was crazy because you can see the camera pan out and then pan right back in once it's time to get up close. It was so amazing. and I like that moment. That's a moment where it's like you could get that in a magazine. It'll be fucking cool. I liked it. It was fun, but it was also moments where it was like, yo, Evil could walk out of here with this fucking belt. And you got people like, oh, it's Evil. It's not going to be that serious with him holding on to the title. It's like, you can see that now only because you guys didn't like his first run. I would have been okay with his second run if they actually were able to pull the trigger, because there were some close moments where it looked like, holy shit, if they do it, who the fuck is going to face Evil at Forbidden Door? So Moxley wins, and that rivalry's over. He gets the mic, and then we get Forbidden Door coming up, and I'm like, me and TJ, we have this excitement in our eyes where it's like, Moxley wants an opponent. All right. Who's it gonna be? Turned out to be Naito. Oh yeah, Dick Togo throwing cocaine in Moxley's face.
Drugs.
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 Drugs. After we just watched MXC and Kenny Blankenship gave those addicts drugs for their win.
Yes, they won and got drugs.
So I'm a little miffed that it has to be Naito again, but you know what? Whatever. I can't complain because maybe they might have him win it back at Forbidden Door. We never had the IWGP heavyweight title change hands at the pay-per-view, and I don't think Mox would mind losing the belt at Forbidden Door. I think they just wanted to give him the reign just to give him the reign, and again, maybe because they didn't want to give Evil the belt. So I don't know. My favorite, when I give my final grade, my favorite moment of the whole match, Moxley has a chair on his neck, and Evil grabs another chair, and he swings it like he's Gary Sheffield. He hits the chair instead of Moxley, and the chair just does a 360. Table spot was great. Yes, we will be doing Raw next week, Johnny. If you're thinking that we're going to talk about Clash at the Castle, no, because we're not going live for it. Even if it is at 2 p.m. We're not watching that fucking shite.
Yeah, we'll be back doing Raw next week, but we ain't doing Clash.
Our next title defense will be at the Forbidden of Doors. And hopefully, if TJ retains or if I win it back, we can have the belt ready for TNA Slammiversary in the July.
The line.
3.5. I'm going to give this match 3.5. Fun, goofy, fun. I laughed a bit, and it was just fun. It's so much fun. And now, even though, yes, this was a double main event, it's time for the real main event taking place. The Best of Super Juniors 31 Tournament Finals.
Yes, indeed.
El Desperado versus Taiji Ishimori. This match was 23 minutes and 33 seconds. This should have been longer. TJ,
I think it went at the right time.
Let's bring this home. No, I'll tell you why this should have been longer in a minute.
For me, match of the night, the correct main event. They nailed it here. They nailed it. And interestingly enough, I thought they flipped what we kind of know from the more high profile Best of Super Junior matches, where it's a lot of focus on high flying and speed and or even technical wrestling. Like it's a showcase of junior wrestling. So obviously they're going to focus more on those things, but they took almost a more heavyweight approach with the build of the match. Like they had the exposed corner and did a lot of work around focusing on that. Like there was a lot of slow paced mat work and stuff like that. Like the story was, we're going to build up the moment for Despy. We're going to build up the moment for Despy. We want the people to get behind Despy, which is easy because the people clearly already behind Despy. And that all worked out. Like 20 minutes felt like it flew by in this match. We were sitting here watching this and listening to the time cues, and we was like, it's been 10, it's been 15.
Yeah, word.
Oh, it's been 20. And bear in mind, this is 6 a.m. in the morning. The sun has come up. We're sitting here fucking half tired, nearly, dead from the shit. And we're
Oh
like,
no, this
yo,
wasn't 6 a.m. This was the 7 o'clock a.m. one.
yeah, like 6 into 7, like this is the end of the show. So the sun has come up. We've been up all night, and we're at the end of our rope, and we're still sitting here watching. It's like, yo, this is really good. So
Yep.
that is not a compliment I give lightly. In that 20 minutes went by on a match like this when we're watching this so late. Um, Despy having the crowd in his hands was great, and it felt earned. Him getting this W after his whole journey, it felt earned. Is what you want out of a tournament final. Like when you see a guy win a tournament, you're supposed to feel like, man, he went through all this to get to this spot, and now he's gonna move on and hopefully get his. And that's what I felt for Despy coming out of this, which is great. Straight bars, I'm giving this bars. Match of the night for me, great main event. And I love that, the juniors got this focus.
So yeah, yeah, it was between this and the never open weight title.
Yeah.
The point where so I woke up this morning and when my brother was still here, I'm like, all right, let me put him on to what I was watching over the weekend. So I put him on to this. I only showed him 2 matches just before we walked out the door. I showed him this match and then I showed him the never open weight title. He was watching, he was paying attention, he was actually mad focused. And I was explaining to him everything that was going on. And then we got to this match. And he was like, yo, why these little guys out here closing out the shows? Like, bro, you don't get it. There was a tournament that took place. They do this every year. These guys are part of a division called the junior division. You remember back then when WWF had the light heavyweight division? It's like, oh yeah, that. Like, yeah, this basically it, but better.
Yes.
So we're watching this. He's looking at it and he's like, yo, these dudes could fly. These dudes just doing flippy shit, athleticism. And I'm like, you know what? I'm watching this again. And I was like, holy shit. Taiji Ishimori looks like a fucking star. He's built to be a star. Despy is that guy that's literally, is still working his way up there. And every time he gets a very big win, especially in a monumental moment like this, it always means something. And it was really, really cool to see it. Like, again, this is the very first time ever that the junior heavyweight division, the best of Super Juniors, is closing out this show. This has never happened before. The best of Super Juniors had its own final shows back then, where they bring, all the guys from the past blocks. They have random matches and all this shit just to, get everybody prepared for the finals in that main event. They'll throw in a special singles match, like, let's say for Juice Robinson versus John Moxley. They'll throw that in there as like a special singles match just to give you guys a breather from the juniors and give you guys something different before the main event. And then you got your main event here. That's how they always did the best of Super Juniors finals show. They didn't do it here, which I was a little caught off guard, but then I found out that they're going to be closing out the show at Dominion in Osaka Joe Hall. Yeah, they deserve this big moment and this big stage in front of a crowd of people like this. And these 2 guys, they were putting in that work. And I love the junior heavyweight division. And Despy literally went out here and got his main event moment. Ishimori went out here, got his main event moment. These 2 men were cooking. The crowd was hyped. It kept us awake. And we've always said how the junior division is the matches that always wakes us the fuck up.
Tradition.
Fast-paced, action-packed, great technicality, so much passion, so much heart. They finally listened to us and they were like, Romu can't be the face of this division anymore. I think it's now Despy's time. I think he is the one that got the torch passed on to him. And when we said it at Wrestle Kingdom, I think we were right. And I'm saying it again, TJ. I think that torch passing is actually finally coming to fruition. He's going to win back his junior heavyweight title against Sho. And it's going to be one hell of a showcase. I was a little miffed that, when we were done and show came out, we were kind of like, all right, shut the fuck up. Let's go. We want to bring it home. Let's bring it home. And they were talking nonstop, and I was getting annoyed, and I was really out of it. I wanted to go to bed because I had to go do this fucking gender reveal. Shut up, villain. You didn't watch the show, so your opinion doesn't fucking matter. 3 out of 10 show. Go eat a dick.
No, he was talking about Raw.
Yeah.
Talking about Raw.
Yeah. Unless he knew what happened on Raw, then he could tell me the show's a 3 out of 10. But I know what he's here for because he showed up on our show. See, he knows what I'm talking about.
No, TJ, Raw really sucked. I know, villain. I know. I didn't watch it, but I'll take your word for it.
This match is getting a 4.5.
Okay.
I would have gave it a GOAT, but if it wasn't for that Never Openweight Championship match and that draw, which ended perfectly for me, I would have gave this match a GOAT. Only because they main evented, they got their moment. I got to give it a 4.5. It was still my second favorite match of the night, though. Got to give it that. But, I mean, we already said both our matches of the nights. There were no worst matches of the nights here. None of us gave any match here a bad or who booked this shit. I think it was just basically more professional. Like, I didn't even pull out any of the fucking weird ratings of mine and shit.
Yeah, like the worst match on this show was fine. It was okay. So like I came in, I was low key expecting to shit on Mox and Evil because House of Torture bullshit, but even that was good House of Torture bullshit. It wasn't even bad. So there you go.
But now Gato, seriously, bro, you've been doing some weird shit, and it's time to change that. And I hope Dominion prove to you that you gotta do all that change. Like, for instance, no more we gotta do something about that KOPW shit. We gotta change that after the Uemura Girl comment. I think that's what the KOPW title should be. What these two guys did, which was their version of a pure match. No more gimmicks, no more bullshit. We gotta start bringing the women back. Also, like, and I'm hoping now, because my biggest issue with New Japan was the tag division after 2022. Their tag division has been in a slump. And I'm hoping now with TMDK running the tag division, since they have both the titles, that this is a resurgence for the tag division to rise up and get back to that prominence of what they were all those years ago. Because they were hitting some dark times and a lot of teams were leaving. God left. Now Hikuleo about to be making his way to fucking Stanford. ELP gonna be on his own. Bullet Club. Honestly, I don't know where some of these Bullet Club members stand. I don't know if they stand with Finley because they're not. Some of them, they still have their old themes, but they're not really like War Dogs. They're Bullet Club OGs, so it's either like, what are we doing here? But I enjoyed the show. Final grade for the show overall, I will give the show, I'm gonna give it a B+. It was a standard show for what they did.
I am also gonna throw the show a B, solid B. Like I said at the top, nothing bad, but I would also say arguably nothing that hit the standard that Dominion has set for itself in recent years. Like, this is the show where we saw Okada Omega 4 and things of that nature. And like we talked about at the top, part of that is definitely external factors with Japan's financial situation and people leaving and things like that. Like, you can't deal with that. Like, I think a lot of people talk about like a lot of the top New Japan guys going over to AEW and they sort of blame AEW in that. But I think the issue that people don't realize there is that those guys were leaving anyway. And if there's no AEW, those guys probably just go to WWE.
That is true.
So like, though you can't stop Okada leaving. You can't pay him when he wants to get paid. He's gonna leave. Can't stop Ospreay from leaving. That's gonna happen. So those are things you can't control. But I feel like you said, Gato is now in the position, and New Japan are now in the position where you got to control the things you can control. Control, the controllable things. Keep the booking tight. Don't clear up this undercard title clutter. Be more focused with the young guys that you're going to push up throughout the future, because obviously Okada's gone. Naito and Tana are at the end of their rope. They're broken down. And even on your junior side, Hiromu was getting toward the end of his rope. Like,
Yeah.
it's time for the newer guys to come up. And I feel like this show was hopefully a start in that direction of those mission statements. Like the guys we talked about, Yoda Sujis,
Yeah.
Despies, all
Yes.
those guys. We need to get those guys going up and up and up toward the future. So,
and again, watching this show, being that this is Dominion, this is one of their big shows in Shinihun Pro Wrestling's history, next to Wrestle Kingdom. And this show didn't feel like that. It didn't feel like a big pay-per-view show like how they always did it, but it was still a big show that we got to enjoy. And again, yeah, we had to talk about the dark issues that New Japan has problems with. Finances, booking decisions, talent leaving, mostly from their tag and some of their factions and their big top stars, is understandable. Some of these things do happen for a reason. You could pay people all this money all you want, but what is it going to benefit the company overall if you keep them around forever and if they don't branch themselves out going somewhere else? Shut up, villain. We ain't really got time for all this nonsense with you. Like, at this point, I've been ignoring you for 5 minutes right now.
what Paul White got to do with this?
Why don't you go jerk off to Liv Morgan touching Dominic Mysterio? All right.
Oh, Villa, you get down like that? That's crazy.
I'm gonna give it a buck. Like, keep it a buck here. Like, all jokes aside, all gimmicks aside, like, I wasn't pulling any of that shit here because I'm trying to look at New Japan for how it is now. This is a sports thing. I'm trying to look at it as a sports journalist, as a sports project that I watch on a daily basis when we have the opportunity to watch it. What I saw here was a good show. There were some problems. Tag division needs help. We need to bring back the women's division. What the fuck? Like, again, the never open weight titles need some work. They need some work. And if that means we got to start doing more faction warfare all over again, so fucking be it. But it's time to start. It's time to start making this feel like the King of Sports promotion all over again. I'm not saying this is looking like a Nokiism, but it's starting to look like the Tanahashiism era.
He got a chance to make it the president.
He can make
Tanahashi
it right. He can make it right overall. I'm not hating on the fact that he's president, but I'm hoping this time that after this match that he had, this is it. He now has to go do business and make more business. And Forbidden Door is going to be that prime example. Going forward, I want to see him progress this company. I want to come back when we watch Wrestle Kingdom again, knowing that everything that we talked about going into this year, when we go into next year, it's going to be completely different. And hopefully we don't ever have to bring this up ever again. Right or wrong?
No, I agree. Young Wolf also has a take. He says bring in more Noah and DDT guys.
That too.
Wow, Chris Brooks, Keno. I would love to see Keno. Keo Mayonnaise. Yo, hey, did you back?
I will say this. For the junior division side, if y'all were really expecting Kushida to actually go back and be the face of this division again after he competed in the Best of Super Juniors, that's not the case. He's signed to TNA and he's working the dojo. He's living in the US. He's already done with all that. Let him live his life now, doing what he needs to do. Yeah. If he wants to be a part of a tournament, let him do that. But we're not doing that poster boy shit anymore because now it's Despy. I just watched this invitational earlier.
Yeah, like we both just talked about. The time for New Japan is to go forward, not backward. Like bringing in Kushida to have him helm the light division again would be going backward. We don't need that. Despy's on top. Keep moving with Despy.
Again, Jon Moxley going forward. If we had Evil winning that shit, we would have been going totally backwards. It would have been back to Inokiism all over again.
Yeah.
You know? And again, we love this sport so much that this is how professional that we have to be on this. We don't really get to do this a lot with Dominion, which is defend the belt. And I'm happy that I got to defend it, and we could wait till next year to do it again. But it ended in a 3-way tie, and we got to do the simulation on Monday, which is on twitch.tv. On last night, Sunday, which is on twitch.tv/Ramblemania show on our Come Weekly TV stream. So if you haven't had a chance, go watch it. TJ the Great won the belt due to racist situations by having a chocolate starfish hot dog flavored water wrestler go out there and win the belt, brother, in a ladder match.
Yes, brother, dude. Regrettably, it's my WrestleMania 17 win. That's how I'm looking at it.
Oh my god! But yeah, the next title of defense will be Forbidden Door at the end of June, and hopefully one of us could retain the belt, and we could go defend it at TNA Slammiversary, followed by Money in the Bank. Then all the other pay-per-views coming up. Because at the Money in the Bank, we got will be SummerSlam. But yeah, stay tuned for all of the other streams we got coming up during the week. We are not going live for that Scottish show.
No, villain. No Clash.
No, we're not doing that. But Raw will be back next week, guys. But tomorrow night, come Tuesday TV, we will be watching the unbeatable Banzuke. Kiriko Banzuke Skatata Yokozo. But it looks like there has been enough talk. There's been enough rambling. We are done with the Shinnihu Pro Wrestle. But it is time to bring it home here on the Ramblemania show. Great one. It is time to tell all these Ramble Maniacs, all these BC aliens, and these fucking marks where to find us.
Yes. For that, Young Wolf, I agree. Bring in Chitan. Have them fuck shit up. But yes, you already know where to find us. Bring Yoshihiko too. Tag team. You already know where to find us. Or they wrestle each other. Find us on Instagram at Ramblemania Show, at Banter Club Podcast. Find us on Twitter at Ramblemania. Facebook.com/Ramblemania Show. Also find our group there, Ramblemania Show's Banter Club. We and the other wrestlers, podcasters, and everybody we associate with us, all that's going on and all that's going down. As far as audio, we're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, everywhere podcasts are found. Search Ramblemania Show or Banter Club. As far as visuals, twitch.tv/Ramblemania Show, Spotify video. We're on YouTube, search Ramblemania Show or Banter Club. And when you get here, like the videos, click subscribe, click the bell, so that when the new content drops, it goes straight to you. You villain, the BC alien. You are the BC alien.
He's not a BC alien. He's just an alien.
Sure. And as far as me personally, find me on Instagram at TJ the Great One. That's TJ the GR the number 8 the number 1. Find me on Twitter at TJ the Great. That's TJ the GR the number 8. It's as simple as that.
TJ the Great too. TJ the Great.
Yeah, Spotify this video podcast, villain. Not the live streams, but the pods.
Yeah, it's weird. I'm still new to that stuff. So as always, guys, find me on Instagram at iZombies. IZOMBIESZ. For our Ramblemania Heavyweight Champion TJ the Great, I'm Hazel the iZombie. This has been our Shinnihu Pro Wrestle's Dominion 2024 review here on the Ramblemania Show. We want to wish all of you out there a point and goodies. You're too fucking sweet.
Back in style and a good fight and a good night. Thumbs up.
Later, Mark.
Now go home and smoke some more crack.